Hi, today I'm going to show you how to install Ubuntu using VMware on a MacBook. So what you'll need for this installation is you'll need to download VMware, you'll need to download Ubuntu, and you'll need a DVD, RW, or R drive. And you should have a MacBook or a Mac with a Superdrive, which allows you to write DVDs. So let's get started. In this video, I'll be actually showing you how to download VMware, how to download Ubuntu, how to burn Ubuntu, and I'll be showing you the correct configuration that you should do to run a good VMware Ubuntu. So let's get started here. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go to Google, and we actually just want to open up single Google page, and we want to type in Ubuntu, and it should be the top link, and you just want to click download, and you want to make sure you download Ubuntu desktop. Okay, you don't want to download the server, the cloud, or the Killin. You want to download Ubuntu desktop. So let's click that, and then now here is where you want to make sure you click the 64-bit, okay? We're going to be installing it in VMware, so we don't need 64-bit Mac version. So we just want to click 64-bit here. We want to click download. And now, since Ubuntu is an open source software, you can always donate to it. So basically what open source means is that people are developing this. It's a free to use software, so there's no product key, there's nothing you have to pay for it. These are all just contributions if you want to make them. But let's just take me to the download. And in just a few seconds your download has started. So now approximately if you've got a good internet connection, it should maybe take you about 10 minutes to download. On a slower internet connection, it may take you 30, it may take you 40. So I've already got this downloaded, so I'm just gonna right click here and click cancel. And I'll show you guys where I have it. So I have it right on my desktop. Now as you can see, it says Ubuntu 14.04.1 desktop, and it says it is AMD. Let me just show you guys. So it says desktop AMD 64, right? So just make sure this is the one we were downloading. So I can show you guys I'm downloading the same one. So it's Ubuntu 14.04.1 desktop AMD.iso. So that's exactly the one we're downloading right now. So once it's downloaded, it should look something like this. Usually when it's downloaded, it gets downloaded into your downloads folder. So if you just want to go in here, grab it, all you gotta do is just bring it over here and just paste it. It's really easy to do. And then what you want to do from there on is you want to go to your disk utility. So you just click right up here and you go to the search bar and you click disk utility. And once it opens up your disk utility, now I've already got it here, but if you don't have it here for some reason, all you gotta do is just take it from here and just drop it in like that, and it'll show up right here. Once you're at this step, what you want to do is you want to click on this. You want to click on convert. You want to make sure you change the image format right here to DVD CD master, and you want to make sure the encryption is none, and then you want to click save. This should take you approximately about a minute or two. Again, it's kind of depending on the MacBook you have, right? So if you've got an 8 gigahertz processor, then it'll be it. If you got 8 gigabytes of RAM, then it'll be much faster than 4 gigabytes of RAM, right? So we're just gonna wait here for this to finish. And as you can see, it just finished now. We get a new file right here. It's called the exact same name, but instead of .iso, it's .cdr now. What we want to do is we want to make sure you can just grab this and drag it over into here, and once you drag it into there, you want to click on it, and you want to go to burn, and now is when you insert your DVD, RW, or R drive into your computer, into your MacBook, and once you insert it, it will say that you can ready to burn it. I suggest burning it on the lowest speed possible. So for me, it'll be auto selected because it's only 2x. So okay, so once it's ready to burn, you just want to click burn right here, and it'll take about 20 minutes, and it'll burn the .cdr image to the drive, to the disk, sorry. And then once it's burned, we'll start again. I'll show you the next process. Now I'm actually not going to burn this because I already have it burnt onto this, but what I've already burnt is basically the exact same thing you're going to be burning. So I'm just going to hit cancel, and it should take you about 20 to 30 minutes, and then you'll be ready for the step I'm on now. So all we want to do is we can once it's burnt, we can remove both these files if you guys want. Like, there's no problem with keeping them there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to download our VMware. So we're just going to go to Google again. We're going to type in VMware Fusion 7. Okay? And you just want to go to the VMware site. You want to go to downloads. Let me see. Sorry, no, you don't want to go to downloads. You just want to go to you want to try for free right down here. And once you get here, you just want to click on VMware Fusion 7. Download now. Now again, it should take you about 2 to 3 minutes, but I've got pretty fast internet connection, so it should be done in about 1 minute, 1 minute and a half. So once this is done, I will show you. Okay, so as you can see, now we're done. Now all we want to do is we just want to open this image. That's going to say it's verifying. Okay, now this is all you want to do. You just want to double click here, and it'll start the installation in the background. Right here, as you can see, it's kind of verifying everything. So that'll take us a couple minutes. So we just want to make sure that we say open, because we know we downloaded it from a real site. So, and then you're just gonna have to put in your password. So So now we can just close this down. We can go into Finder, and we can unmount the VMware we just downloaded, so we can unmount that. Alright, so let's get started installing our Ubuntu now on VMware. So we've got VMware downloaded, so we're just going to click this little icon, or you can click this one too. They open the same thing. We want to go to More Options. We want to go to Create Virtual Machine. We want to go to Continue. We want to go to Linux for the operating system, and we want to make sure we find Ubuntu 64-bit. And we want to just create a new virtual hard disk. And this stuff is going to be automatically allotted. We actually can't change it yet. We actually have to change it once we create the virtual disk. So again, the hard drive capacity cannot be changed yet. The memory cannot be changed yet. Any of the settings you see here cannot be changed yet. So if I were to go into customize settings, all I can change is the name I want to save it under and where I'm saving the virtual machine. So once that opens, we just want to close this down. We actually don't want it to run. We want to go to General. Actually, we don't want to go to General. We want to go Processors and Memory, and we want to take this and we want to make it 2048, which basically means 2 gigabytes of memory. And we want to leave it just at that. And now it is telling me that I've got 2 gigabytes of RAM for my Mac, and I've got 2 gigabytes of RAM used in the Ubuntu 64 virtual VM. So I'm okay with that, and now I want to go to hard disk, and I want to change this number to 30 gigabytes. I'm going to click apply. Just says it's going to expand it, okay. And we want to go back to, we want to just exit out of there now. We want to go back way down here. We want to go to virtual machine library. We want to click Ubuntu 64-bit. Now is when you make sure you have your Ubuntu bit disk inserted. The disk we created in part 2. So I'm just going to insert that real quick here. And now that I have it inserted, I'm going to go click Start Up. Just in 1 second once I know that the disk is going to work. Okay, let's click Start Up. And now it starts booting VMware. It starts booting your virtual machine for the first time. And now this can take a couple of minutes to get to the installation window, so I'm just going to leave it here while you guys watch. Okay, so on the right, on the left, you can actually pick your language. So if you don't want an English, you can pick a whole bunch of other languages. So you can just scroll through that. But we're going to start the installation now, so we're going to click Install Ubuntu. Okay, so it's making sure that we've got at least 6.5 gigabytes of available drive space, and depending on when you're installing it, you can either be connected to the internet, or if you're not, that's okay too. There's nothing really affected, but right now that I am connected to the internet, I will get the updates. But if you're not, whenever you do connect to the internet, I'll show you exactly where to go, and you'll be able to get the updates too. Just click continue here. And now make sure you don't click this. We don't want to erase the disk and install Ubuntu. No. We want to make sure we go to something else down here. And we click continue. Okay. Now it tells us we've got 32.2 gigabytes of space. So we want to go to new partition table, and we want to make the free space. So we've got 32 gigabytes of free space. Okay, so let's start out. We want to make sure that we select primary here. We want to keep it ext for journaling file system, and we want to make the mount point slash. This slash means root. So we actually want to keep that root, and we want to make this 20 gigabytes. So we want to make it 20 gig. We want to make it 20 gigabytes, which is 20,000 MB approximately. We're just going to click OK here. And then we are going to make another one for swap. So you actually want to go use as. You want to change this all the way down to swap area. What swap area is basically when you run out of RAM on your virtual machine, the application will start crashing. And what swap does, it basically allows it to use some of your hard disk space as more RAM, which in turn will, when it needs more RAM space, it won't crash any programs. It'll just add it there. But the difference is if you add applications or data onto it, it is going to be much slower than if you're using the actual RAM provided inside your computer. So for me, I personally know that I've got 4 gigabytes of RAM, but if you don't know where that is, there's a very, very easy way to find that out. So you just click the Apple button right here. You go to About This Mac, and here it will tell you how much memory you have. So I've got 4 gigabytes of RAM. This memory means RAM right here. So once you know how much you have, all you want to create for the swap area is you just want to double that. So if it says 2 gigabytes, for example, you want to do 4 gigabytes. If it says 4 gigabytes, you want to do 8 gigabytes. If it says 6 gigabytes, you want to do 12 gigabytes. If it says 8 gigabytes, you want to do 1600 MB. But personally, I would not recommend doing more than 8 gigabytes. So for 8 gigabytes, what it is it's 8,000 is approximately 8 gigabytes. If you want exactly 8 gigabytes, I suggest you do about 500 to 600 megabytes more than what you're doing. So for example, if you want to make it 4 gigabytes, I do 4,500 megabits. If you want to do it 8 gigs, I would do it 8,500 MB. So we're just gonna click OK here. And once that's done, it tells us now we've got free space right here, which is fine. Like we can delete this, and we can use all the space for our root. So what your root will contain is all the information for running Linux. You can so we're gonna just delete this right here. We're gonna get rid of it, and then we're actually going to use this free space together. So actually just gonna click revert, and we're gonna redo that. Okay, so let's start out with the swap first. Let's do swap area first. So let's do 8,500 for swap. We want to make sure it's logical. Right after that, we want to go back to our free space. We want to click the plus sign again, and we want to make sure that's exFAT ext4, and then we want to just mount it as root. This represents root. And once that is done, we want to make sure we click the ext4, and we want to click install now. It's as simple as that. You don't have to change the bootloader installation at all, so you can just leave it just like that. And now you just tell it where you're located. So I'm located in Toronto. I'm just going to type in Toronto. Now this is basically to actually find out which time zone you're in. So I'm going to say Toronto. Now, depending on which country you're downloading it from, you can change your keyboard. I'm in Canada, so I'm just going to do English US. And now you want to pick your name, a password. So I'm just going to quickly put my name in, JJ, password. And just want to click continue right here. And now this installation will take about 20 minutes to do, so I'm just going to wait here. I'll be right back with the installation guide once this is done installing, because you really don't have to do anything. All you gotta do right here is you gotta wait for all the files to be copied into root and for it to make Ubuntu onto your virtual VM. So I'll be right back once this is done. Okay, so I'm back, and the installation has been done. So as you can see, it says installation is complete. Now you need to restart, so just click restart now. Just gonna wait for this to restart. So our disk is going to be ejected. We're just waiting for Ubuntu to restart now. So all you have to do is just press enter on that screen, and it should start rebooting Ubuntu. Let's go full screen now. Let's go full screen with Ubuntu. There we go. It's going to take a second to load it up to the new configuration. We're just going to type in our password, one we created when we did the installation. Now, what LTS stands for is long-term support, so you'll constantly be getting updates for this Ubuntu. There are other versions of Ubuntu which aren't called LTS because they're not stable yet. What stable means is basically means that it has reached a point where the Ubuntu, there aren't very many bugs in it, and there aren't going to be very many crashes. So here we've got our Ubuntu now. You are done the installation process. Now we can just open up Firefox. So we're just going to wait for that to open up. And let's go to Google. And as you can see, the page is working. Now, if you want to change the resolution, you can probably go to System Settings. And you can go to Screen Display. You can change the resolution depending on the monitor or your laptop screen. You can change the resolution to as high as 2660. So but I want it to be 1080p. So we're going to go with 1920. And we're actually going to detector display. I'm actually just going to go 16:9 for now. Okay, there we go. That's a little better. Keep this configuration. We're just going to keep going a little higher. We're actually going to go a little lower and try to see if we can get a better area covered. So basically all you have to do is just play around with it, and then you should be able to get your full screen covered. So right now I've got a little bit of black space here, a little bit of black space down here, which I'm okay with. But let me just minimize that. And if you go into Ubuntu Software Center, this is where you'll have to go if you didn't have any internet connection while downloading Ubuntu. You'll just have to go into this, and it'll start looking for the updates. If not, you can just go into installed, and it'll look for the updates here too. But once it looks for the updates, it'll open up like a window like this. It'll say Software Updater. You just want to click that. You want to click Install Now. And after it has been installed, you'll be up to date on the newest software. And now this authentication is the password you use to sign in. So I'm just going to type that in, authenticate, and now the download has started. So Once that's downloaded again, it will update your Linux Ubuntu installation, and then you're good to go. If there's any questions you guys have, just please leave them in the comments below, and I can definitely help you guys out. Well, have a great day, and this was my how-to guide on installing Ubuntu using VMware on a Mac.